Hello students, welcome to online lectures. My name is Khushbu Joshi, your new English teacher for this academic year, that is 2020 and 21. Due to this pandemic, we are unable to go to school and study, but you and me have found out the solution to be connected with each other through this online teaching and learning process, which proves that even this pandemic is not able to keep the teachers away from their students. I hope you are having fun while learning through watching the videos that your respective subject teachers are making for you. I hope you like the subject English. I think that you wonder that, why do you have this subject English in your curriculum? Let me tell you the importance or the significance of the subject. English as a subject helps you to learn a new language, develops your communication skills, and enables you to read various books written in English, right? In the previous lectures, we had done English activities, and through the first activity, that was a story about a farmer, we had learnt about various vegetables and their importance for us, which helps us to be healthy and strong. I had told you all to draw the favorite vegetables or two, three vegetables that you like and send it to me, correct? From the second activity, we learned about various antonyms, also called as opposite words. Now, from today or in today's lecture, we are going to start with the first chapter of your second grade, that is the magician and the duck. Before we start with the chapter, I want to tell you the importance of punctuality. Punctuality is a key to get success in life, not only in the life of a student but also as a person. A punctual and a disciplined student always gets respect and social acceptance in the school and society. The punctual students are admired by the parents as well as by the teachers. In school time, punctuality ensures that you will arrive to school on time and so will not miss any part of the lesson. You come to school right when the school was working, when the school had, the school starts, right? You always come in school at 7 o'clock in the morning and your lecture starts by 7:30. So we ensure that everything, okay, all the lectures, all the periods are, goes according to time wise and goes smoothly. Now, as well as studying at home, I want to tell you all that please study in the morning, when you get up, freshen up, have your healthy breakfast, sit and study. Do not keep your work, in the evening, do not pile it up. Just do your work on time. Okay, it is going to help you for your further studies and for future years, okay, to become a good person. Do not rush at 5 o'clock in the evening and see the videos and just shabbily do your work and send the homework because you have to submit it at 6 o'clock. Do not do all of that. Seriously study, okay, understand the importance of all these things. Sit properly and write and listen to everything carefully, okay, and study well. I know you are good children, I know you are doing all these things properly, but just who are not doing it, it is just like a small lesson, okay, for them. So please understand the importance of punctuality and try doing everything on time. 1. The magician and the duck. The learning objective of this chapter are: it will help you to recognize different objects, okay, it will also help you to recognize different words, help you to pronounce and spell them correctly. And last but not the least, after the end of the chapter, after the explanation and the reading, you will also able to answer the following questions which are put related to the chapter. So before we start, I would want to tell you that please practice to read the chapter and read along with me. See the video again, okay, twice or thrice, and see how the words are being pronounced, okay. And also we'll also study about various opposite words which have come in this chapter as well. So let us begin now. Chapter number 1, the magician and the duck. Mr. Pasha is a magician. He is a famous magician. Today he is in Raj school. Okay, so there are various characters in this chapter. Okay, first one over here is Mr. Pasha. And who is Mr. Pasha? Mr. Pasha is a magician. Okay, magician is a person who shows you various magic tricks, right? And Mr. Pasha is not a, he is not very, unknown person. He is a very famous person. Everybody knows Mr. Pasha. Okay, and he's a very famous magician. And today, okay, he is in whose school? He is in Raj school. Okay, now you can see this first image over here. Okay, in this first image you can see Mr. Pasha, okay, with hat and a cape, right? And you can see over here a small boy. And who is he? He is Raj. So let us start and let us see what they are conversing about. Mr. Pasha: look, this is a ball and that is my handkerchief. Raj, put the handkerchief on the ball, please. Okay, so Mr. Pasha has a ball in his hand, okay, and he also has his handkerchief. And what is he telling Raj to do? He's telling Raj to put the handkerchief on the ball and cover the ball, okay, with the handkerchief. Let us see over here in the second image. Now see my magic. I pick up my handkerchief. There is no ball. It's an orange. Okay, what did he do? What magic trick did he show? Mr. Pasha had asked Raj to put the handkerchief on the ball, and so Raj, okay, had put the handkerchief. And what happened when Mr. Pasha lifted up the handkerchief again? What was there? There was no ball, but the ball kind of turned into an orange, right? You can see over here on his hand. Okay, you can see that over here in his hand, what does he have? He has an orange. Okay, and all the students in the class, okay, are looking at all these magic tricks which Mr. Pasha is doing and showing to the kids. Correct? Now Mr. Pasha calls the other student from the class, okay, and his name is Ali. And Mr. Pasha is done showing the first magic trick, and in the first magic trick, what does he do? He turns a ball in an orange. So now let us see his second magic trick. Ali, what's in my hat? Ali is one of the students from the class, so he is being called to help Mr. Pasha with the second trick. So Mr. Pasha is asking Ali that can he see anything in the hat? Okay, so what does Ali reply? Nothing. Okay, so what is it? There is nothing in the hat. Okay, now again, put my hat on the table, please. What is Mr. Pasha instructing Ali? He is asking Ali to keep and put his hat where? On the table. Okay, and as Mr. Pasha is saying, certain things to do, he's following his instructions. Okay, who is following? Ali is following Mr. Pasha's instructions. Okay, now let us see what happens after Ali puts the hat on the table. I'll read first, okay, and then I'll explain it to you all. You'll read after me. I pick up my hat. Oh no, there is something under it. It's a hen. It's a nice fat hen. So what happens after Ali puts the hat on the table? Mr. Pasha, okay, looks and picks up the hat, okay, slightly, and he's trying to see that there is something under the hat. Okay, you can see over here in this picture. Yeah, and what does he say? He says, "Oh no, there is something, under the hat." And what comes out of the hat? Can you see over here in the image second, or the second image you can see over here? It's a hen. Okay, so what comes out of Mr. Pasha's hat? A hen comes out. And here they have described how the hen is. How is the hen? The hen is nice and fat. Correct? Yes. Now Mr. Pasha is ready to show his last trick for the day. Okay? We'll read. You read after me. Okay? Or you read along with me over here. Now, now for my last trick. Mr. Pasha blows and blows. Foo, foo, foo. Okay? He's asking over, you can see the students, right, sitting over here in the class. So Mr. Pasha is ready to show his last trick, and for his last trick, what is he doing? He blows air. Okay, and when you blow air from your mouth, you can hear that sound, foo foo foo. Correct. So you can see that after blowing air, you can see certain things are being formed over here, right? So let us see what are those things. What happens after blowing air? There is a cloud of smoke. In a few moments, it clears. Okay, when he is blowing air, when Mr. Pasha blows air, what happens? The cloud of smoke, okay, arises, or just covers the whole classroom. Okay, and the students are only able to see what only his hat. And once these clouds are clear, then you can see Mr. Pasha. What happens after the air gets clear? You can see Mr. Pasha's hat over here, right? You can see over here. But where is Mr. Pasha? You can see a duck. So where is Mr. Pasha gone? We'll read. There is a duck on the table now. The duck is wearing Mr. Pasha's hat. And what is the duck saying now? I am Mr. Pasha. I am not a duck. Please help me. I want to be a man again. So what happens when Mr. Pasha was showing his last trick, and when he blows the air, okay, and when the cloud arises or just covers the whole classroom, when the clouds get clear, what happens? Mr. Pasha turns into a duck. Okay, and how do we come to know that? Because the duck is wearing Mr. Pasha's hat, and the duck himself is speaking in a human voice, okay, in a man's voice, that is Mr. Pasha's voice. And what is he saying? That because of his own magic trick, there is some mistake happen, and he himself has turned into a duck, right? And he's asking, he has already panicked, and he's asking the students to help him to turn into a man again. Correct? Yeah. Now let us quickly revise the chapter. Okay, what is the name of the chapter? The Magician and the Duck, right? And please answer the questions if you know. Now, whose class is Mr. Pasha come in? Whose school has he arrived in today? Yes. Whose school? Raj school. Okay. And we have various characters in this chapter. We saw that there was Raj, there was Mr. Pasha, and Ali, right? And we saw an orange. We also saw a duck, and there were other classmates also, okay, who were sitting along with Raj and watching all the magical tricks that Mr. Pasha was showing to them. And how many tricks does Mr. Pasha does? Okay, how many tricks does he show? Yes, the answer is 3. The first one, in the first trick, what happens? He takes Mr. Pasha, takes a ball in his hand, okay, and he's asking Raj to put a handkerchief on it. And what happens in the first trick? When he removes the handkerchief, the ball turns into an orange, right? And all the students are very happy, and yeah, they're very amused to look at all these magical tricks. For the next trick, okay, for the second trick, Mr. Pasha calls whom? He calls Ali, right? And what does he use for this trick, to show this trick? He uses his hat, right? And he asked Ali to do what? He's asking Ali to keep the hat on the table. And what comes out of the hat then later on? Yes, a hen. And how is the hen, how is the hen been described over here? The hen is nice and fat, correct? And what happens in the last trick? In the last trick, what does Mr. Pasha do? Mr. Pasha blows air, right? And because of the blowing of the air, what happens? The whole classroom is filled with the cloud of smoke. And when the smoke clears, what happens? You can see a duck on the table, and the duck is wearing a hat. And whose hat is that? Mr. Pasha's hat. So, is that Mr. Pasha or it is a duck? It is Mr. Pasha. And how do we come to know that it was Mr. Pasha? Because the duck starts speaking in a human voice, and he is pleading, okay, the students, that they should help him to become a human, a man again, correct? So this is the thing that we studied. I hope you remember everything, correct? So now we'll go and we'll start solving all the question answers of the chapter. Okay, let us study the antonyms or the opposites of this chapter. The first opposite word is on, and the opposite of on is off. Second is up, and the opposite of up is down. Third, no. The opposite of no is yes. Fourth, last, and the opposite of last is first. The fifth opposite word is fat, and the opposite of fat is thin. The sixth opposite word is under, and the opposite of under is above. Seventh opposite word is now, and the opposite of now is later. The eighth opposite word is few, and the opposite of few is many. Let us solve few question and answers. Okay, let's read and find facts. Your first question is, where did Raj put Mr. Pasha's handkerchief? Your answer is, Raj put the handkerchief on the ball which Mr. Pasha was holding. Second, Mr. Pasha removed the handkerchief. What was under the handkerchief? Do you remember what was there? The ball changed into what? Yes, let us see the answer. When Mr. Pasha removed the handkerchief, there was an orange. Third question. Why did the children clap? Answer. The children clapped because they liked it that Mr. Pasha, the magician, had changed a ball into an orange. Right? When you see something amazing which makes you happy, what you do is you clap. So in the same way, in a similar manner, even the students, even the children in the class had started clapping, okay, because they were very happy looking at all these tricks of Mr. Pasha. Fourth question. What was in Mr. Pasha's hat? Do you remember when Ali, had put the hat on the table? What happened after? What was, what came out of Mr. Pasha's hat? We'll see the answer. When Mr. Pasha showed Raj his hat, there was nothing in it. Correct? When Mr. Pasha showed Ali The hat, there was nothing in it. But later on, what happened? A hen came out, okay, of the hat. Yes. Fifth one. Mr. Pasha picked up his hat from the table. What walked out of it? What is the answer? When Mr. Pasha picked up his hat from the table, a nice fat hen walked out of it. Sixth one. What was on the duck's head? Answer. Mr. Pasha's hat was on the duck's head. Question number 2. Let's read between the lines. First one. Mr. Pasha blows and blows. What happens then? Answer. After Mr. Pasha blows and blows, there is a cloud of smoke which clears in a moment, and the duck can be seen on the table wearing Mr. Pasha's hat. Second question, A part. Was the bird on the table a duck or Mr. Pasha? Answer. The bird on the table was Mr. Pasha. And how do we know that it was Mr. Pasha and not a duck? Okay, not a bird. I mean, it was a bird, but it kind of, told us, or it kind of showed that it was Mr. Pasha, right? Like Mr. Pasha had turned into a duck now. Question B. How do you know? Give two reasons. Now, this is a personal response question, right? They are personally asking what do you think and how do you know. So, how do you, reply, or how do you answer the question? I think this is so because first reason is the bird was wearing Mr. Pasha's hat. Second, the duck spoke in a human voice saying that it was Mr. Pasha, right? He was pleading the students, right, to help him, correct? So these are the two reasons which tells us that the duck was actually Mr. Pasha. Now, I want to tell you one important thing, that whenever you start the answer, the first letter of the answer is always capital. Okay, and wherever you see a name of a person, right, in between of a sentence, right, over here we know this is Mr. Pasha, it's a name of a particular person, it is a proper noun. So what you will do is you will always write that in capital letter. Okay, and in the end you will put a full stop. Over here in all the question and answers, the first letter, if you can see, they're all capital, right? And whenever Mr. Pasha's name has come in between of the sentences, even that is put up in a capital letter. That is also written in a capital letter, right? So always make sure that the first word of your sentence is in capital letter. The proper noun will be in capital letter, and do not forget to put a full stop in the end. Okay, good. What did Mr. Pasha call out? Does this show that he was frightened? I mean, he was scared. B option is, was he nervous? C option is, did not know what to do. Right? This is Mr. Pasha wearing his hat. Correct? Mr. Pasha had changed or turned into a duck after, he was trying to show the last trick to the students. How do we know that, what do you think what it was, whether he was nervous, he was frightened, or he did not know what to do? How do we know? So the correct answer is he did not know what to do. Okay, so please tick this answer. And what is the reason? Mr. Pasha called out to say that it was him and pleaded the children to help him because he was not a duck and he wanted to be a man again. This shows that he did not know what to do, right? So he did not know any trick through which he could turn, okay, back into a man. So he was all afraid, okay. He was actually kind of, he was pleading. He was also scared that he did not know what to do and how he would turn into a man again. So he was asking, the help of the students there. Now, Let's punctuate. What is punctuation? As I said in the previous slide, we saw that I told you that always write the first letter into capital. Okay, if at all it's the name of a person that is a proper noun, then you also have to write that in a capital letter and always put full stop, right? You can see this comma, this full stop, this capital letter, all these things are included in your punctuation. They are called as punctuation marks. So first question is, Mr. Pasha is a magician and he is in Raj's school today. Over here, can you see in the question what is the error, what are the mistakes? You have to write it and correct them in the answer. Here, Mr. Pasha, this is the first word, okay, of the sentence, but it is written over here in a smaller letter. So over here in the answer, you will make it in a capital letter. So Mr. Pasha, okay, Pasha is the name of a person. Again, it is though it is in between of the sentence, you will still write it in a capital letter. P will be a capital. Okay, so Mr. Pasha is a magician, full stop. Now he is describing, okay, the further sentence describing what is he doing and where he is. He is in Raj's school today. Now again, Raj is the name of a boy, right? So even that R will be capital, and in he and Raj's school today. This is the end of the sentence. The sentence ends over here. So what will you put over here? Full stop. So this is how you punctuate a sentence. So your homework for today is, please copy and write down all the question and answers in neat handwriting and learn them properly. Okay, whatever question answers that we discussed in the earlier slides. Okay, please write them properly and make a separate English book. Okay, so all your notes are maintained in one book. So you don't have to search and everything. So please keep it and write it neatly. Second is practice to read the chapter. Please read it again and again. See the video if you cannot understand or pronounce a particular word. So it will help you, to enhance your reading. And last is send the homework to me personally on WhatsApp by 6 p.m. and make sure that you write your name, okay, as well as your standard when you send the homework. Okay. I hope you have understood today's chapter well. And please practice it as I already mentioned earlier. Thank you for attending the lecture. Thank you for watching the video. Stay home and stay safe. Take care of yourself. Okay, take care of your family. Be at home. Be healthy. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.